So to make our washcloth, we're going to be using the Knit Picks We Crochet Dishy and worsted weight. So you want 100% cotton yarn for washcloths for obvious reasons. You want it to be able to soak up water and be washable. And this Knit Picks Dishy is a great choice. It's very soft, very well plied, doesn't split when you're crocheting with it, and it's just one of my favorite 100% cotton yarns. You'll need about 45 yards of whichever color you want to use to make your washcloth. And then with that, you'll need a 6mm USJ hook. This one's from Furls. I love their resin line. They are so pretty. I'm going to link to all of this below, so that way if you want to use the same items, you can. Otherwise, 6mm hook and 100% worsted weight yarn will do the trick. Last, you'll need a yarn needle to weave in ends, of course, and then the pattern. So go to the link in the description to get the pattern and we will get started. But first, if you enjoy free patterns like this, plus tutorials, reviews, giveaways, and all kinds of things, be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you never miss out. Now let's go make a washcloth. Okay, to start the crunch washcloth, we're going to do a slip knot on our hook, and we're going to chain 22. If I could grab the yarn. So I'm going to make them slightly tight. I found that making them kind of just the size of the hook is the best option for the edging. Otherwise, they get a little bit stretched out because it's cotton. So do 22 chains and then we'll come back and start row 1. We are going to start row 1 with a single crochet in the 4th chain from our hook. So we're going to skip these first 3, and those are going to count as a double crochet. Then we're going to make a single crochet in our 4th, and I'm going to use the back loop. We're going to put an edging on this, and I have found that if I work into the bottom bump, thinking I'm being clever for an easier bottom, you know, when I'm working my edging on my foundation chain, it's actually really hard to work into. It's very tight. So the back loop is found, for me, has been the best to work into so that it's easier to work my edging. So that's a little tip for you. So I'm going to do a single crochet. Then we're going to start our actual stitch repeat. So it's going to be just 2 stitches, and it's where the crunch stitch name comes from. We're going to do a double crochet in our next chain. And then our second stitch is another single crochet in the chain after. And we're calling it the crunch stitch because that double crochet gets crunched down because it's a taller stitch than our single crochets. So that's what creates that little crunch, and that's what we're repeating across. So we're just doing a double crochet, single crochet. You'll end with a single crochet in the very last row, or the very last chain, not row. And we're just going to keep on doing that. Double crochet, single crochet, double crochet, single crochet. As I'm getting closer to my edge, I'll talk about if you want to make this bigger. You can turn this into a dish towel if you want. Just add in multiples of 2 onto your beginning foundation chain. And you can make it wider. And then of course, just to make it longer, we're just going to do extra rows. So keep that in mind if you want to do a matching dish towel with this. The possibilities are endless. So here's my last double crochet and then my last single crochet. So, and you can see like how my bottom edge is nice and flat. I don't have like a big poofy kind of wavy out. It's all just nice and flat. So keep those chains kind of tight, just the same size as your hook. So for row 2, we're going to start with a chain 3. And that is going to count as a double crochet again. And then we're going to skip, because that's a counting as a stitch, we're going to skip that very first stitch, and then we're going to do a single crochet in the next stitch. And then we just start our repeat over again. Double crochet in the stitch after, and then single crochet in the stitch next to that. And you'll notice that we are alternating what we did below. So the double crochet is going into the single crochet stitch, the single crochet is going into the double crochet stitch, and that keeps the pattern balanced so that you don't have a weird blob, because if we stack those double crochets, eventually it would throw off the evenness of the row. So keep that in mind. Make sure that you're not working a double crochet into a double crochet. That's why we increase in multiples of 2 so that we don't mess that up. So this is really all there is to this pattern. What I will say is that the rows I give listed for my gauge, that makes a square. Again, you can keep adding rows if you want to make it longer, if you want to make a rectangle or whatever. But when you are doing it, if you did not make gauge, what you can do for your rows, if you still want to make a square without having to worry about making gauge, is to take your washcloth as you think you're getting close to your square, and you're going to fold it in a triangle. And when we get closer to the end, I'll show you this so that you can see what I'm talking about. But when you fold it into a triangle, when it makes a perfect right side triangle, so 90 degrees for back to geometry class, then you will have a square washcloth. So I will work on these rows. One thing to know when you get here to the end of your row, you only have one regular stitch to work into, which will be your last double crochet. You will have your chains to work the last single crochet, so make sure you don't forget that stitch. Otherwise, you will turn into a triangle because you're going to keep decreasing. So make that last stitch, and then you're ready to keep on going. So row 3, 4, every one after is a chain 3, and then a single crochet, and double crochet, a single crochet across. So I will come back and I'll show you my triangle trick. Not really a trick, I'm sure everybody knows it, but just in case, it might be new for some of you. But that's an easy way to make a square without having to figure it out mathematically. So I will see you as we get closer to the end of this. Okay, I finished my last row of the washcloth, and now I wanted to show you how you don't have to really pay attention to gauge if you're trying to make it a square shape. Basically, when you're working it, you'll just kind of stop every once in a while and you'll fold it into a triangle. And if all of your edges are lining up, you should have a pretty good square. So once you get to that point, you can stop and then move on to the edging, which is what I'm going to do now. So for the edging, we're just going to keep the loop on our hook, and then we're going to turn and start working down the side. So I'm going to do another stitch in that same last stitch that I just made to make my corner, and then I'll do another one for a total of 3 in the corner to make the turn complete. And then I'm going to evenly, or as evenly as I can, work single crochets down the side of the washcloth. So this might be a little bit trial and error as you go, because you want it to basically, if you lay it flat, it shouldn't pucker and it shouldn't ruffle. If it's puckering, you don't have enough stitches on your side, and if it's ruffling, you have too many. So every once in a while, kind of stop and just give it a little lay and see how it's looking. And I think I'm okay so far, and then we just keep on going. So for the edging, that's what we're going to do. We're going to work single crochets all the way around. I will make my loop in this next corner I come to, and the loop is totally optional. That's for hanging. I like to hang these on the inside of cabinets so that they're just ready to go, and you can use command strips and little hooks for that, which I'll do a reel so you can see what I'm talking about. So I think I'm still looking good. Let's see, let's go here. So these are great gifts for people, housewarming. Make them for different holidays and give them away. You'll be a very popular person in the office if you create these for people. Okay, here I am in the corner. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make my turn by doing one more in the same spot, so that way I'm kind of at the very corner stitch. Then I'm going to chain 16. 15, and 16. And I'm making them nice and tight. This is the loop, so I'm not doing anything extra with it. So make it nice and tight so you don't have like super loopy loops. You can make it longer or shorter depending on what you like, but you're gonna slip stitch into the very first chain. Otherwise, if you just start your next single crochet, it's very spaced out and it looks kind of weird. So go and, whoops, am I in there? Yes. So go and slip stitch through that very first chain. And then you have a nice close loop. And then you'll do one more stitch in that corner stitch to make it to your foundation chain. And then you'll work in each stitch of these and then back again around the side and then across the top. You could technically leave the top off, but since it's kind of a different kind of stitch, I do one more row on that top spot, just so it looks more uniform all the way around. So I'm going to work my stitches all the way around. You could put your loop in any corner that you like as well. Not a big deal, but I'll come back near the end so we can look at the final project. Okay, here I am at the very last stitch of the row. So I'm going to join my round with a slip stitch and then cut that off. The furrows likes to roll away. Let's stick it there. Alrighty, so it is good to go. I just need to weave in my ends and this will be done. So super fast project, great housewarming gift, great gift for yourself or great project for yourself to use. And I love making them for different holidays and seasons and colors. So very, very satisfying and fun to do while watching TV or anything like that. But I am Deja with Knit and Crochet Ever After, and thank you for watching.